Hello everybody, Ray Garner of Garner's Games here again with my second comic review of the week. This time, we're going back to Aliens vs. Avengers. This is book 2 in this series. This is brought to us by Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic. I think that's pronounced. It's R-I-B-I-C. This is our second book. Where we last left off, the facehugger had tried to get Miles Morales, but the Venom symbiote had assimilated it. So in the new issue, we start off another galaxy, another time. Actually, I'm sorry, another universe, another time. And we have these beings which are unimpressed with the engineers, and they drop some sort of black rain that dissolves them. Basically, they say we're meeting our creators, and we're unimpressed. And we jump up 100 years later, 10,000 planets later, and they have obliterated all life in their universe. And 1,000 years later, they find out there's more universes. So then we get started on our main story arc where we were at. Let's see, this is this universe, 20 years ago, Earth. And they're running a corporation called the Wayland Corporation, and they're trying to acquire Stark Enterprises. But Tony Stark has figured out what's going on. He's basically been playing possum, as they say. And as one was basically bragging about how it's already over, there's nothing you can do about it. He has a Iron Man glove appear on his hand, and he blasts the symbiote's head off. I shouldn't say symbiote. Synthetics. And we've come to the point where he's flashing back to this. Carol comes in and tells him, it's time. And they're all getting ready to, basically take off and abandon Earth. It's a lost cause now. Well, there's a little bit of subnote with the symbiote saying, careful, we can only trust this one so far. Assume he's referring to Tony. Tony basically informs them that the building they're in is actually a rocket. And they're all getting ready to go off. They're going to stop by Mars to tell the mutants that they're leaving and not to worry about sending anybody back to Earth, because Earth is a lost cause. And then Tony sends out War Machine drones to destroy the outer wall, so there's no way for the aliens to get in. But one section doesn't get destroyed. And we find out that's because Steve Rogers is coming in with a whole bunch of survivors. But he's late. And there's no way that they can actually get the survivors, or at least most of them, onto the ship without allowing an alien on board. I have to let the train run through here real quick. You haven't guessed, my shop is near a train track. But Steve, of course, does the classic Captain America thing. Eric tells everybody keep going, I'll do what I can. And he starts fighting and killing aliens. Banner decides that he can't abandon those people and he can't abandon his friend. So he turns into Hulk and he jumps down to join the fight. Carol points out that Banner knew that he wasn't returning when he went down. So the ship takes off, leaving Cap and Hulk fighting a bunch of aliens. And they're upset when they're leaving. And then we go to something called, it's basically referred to as elsewhere, and mostly this, I believe, are the engineers. I don't know since I've seen Prometheus. But everything's done in an alien language, and then the last word is then translated for us, which says infection. And we got kind of a cold stare from what I believe to be an engineer. And that's where the book ends. Much like the first book, this is a alien story with the Avengers guest starring. I like it. It's very dark, very gritty, very much in the theme of an aliens movie, just with superheroes and a little bit of seasoning of the Marvel Universe in there. But again, you must approach this completely as an Elseworld story that happens to have, Carol Danvers and Bruce Banner and Steve Rogers and Tony Stark in it, and Miles Morales in it. Because this is not the Marvel Universe. This is an alternate universe. It is still quite an interesting story. If you're an Aliens fan, this is a great book. If you're an Avengers fan, if you can accept Elseworld stories where the Avengers have made a lot of mistakes, I think you'll like it. I really do like the art. The art's very befitting of the universe and how it's supposed to feel. So I do recommend this if you like science fiction, if you like horror, if you like the Alien series. If you want to read the Avengers in a very bad situation, I do recommend it. If you're wanting it to make comic book sense, I do not recommend it. It's not going to make comic book sense. But it's a fun read. It's good. It's enjoyable. You should check it out. And I'll catch y'all next week. Nukem from Orbit.